Richie Rich, Tom Ross, what's good with you guys, man?
It's good, man. Another football Sunday.
Yeah, man. Let's get after it. Another football week down for the count.
Yeah,
Okay, let's jump right into it, man. The Dolphins, man. Hey, tag, Tua, Tua tag, Tua tag ain't playing. That man threw a lot of yards. 401. My goodness, in week 8, he came back strong. It's like as if this concussion didn't mean nothing. And the game was a lot closer than I thought it would be against Detroit, 31-27, but still, the Dolphins did their thing. So, let's talk about it, man. How you guys feel about the Dolphins? How do you guys feel about Tua, and how do you guys feel about them moving forward? Do you guys think this is going to be a continuum leading into the playoffs? You guys think they're a playoff team, or they're going to falter at some point?
nah, they're a playoff team. They I knew they were a playoff team when they beat the Ravens. When you're a playoff team when a team has to play for the whole game
Mhm.
all the way to the last second. You're a playoff team. To beat you, you're a playoff team. You know what I'm saying? Um, I just love the fact that he's making the naysayers. Hey, what's all that noise?
Richie Rich, is that your background?
He's making the naysayers look like either they're retarded or all they do is spit narratives. All they do is spit narratives. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I love it.
Yeah, man. Tua, he definitely balled out. It was nothing serious when. I mean, obviously, it was a serious moment when he got the concussion, but after he was thoroughly checked, he even went overseas uh, to get checked by those the doctors overseas. I think in Germany because they specialize in all that neurology, looking at the brain, seeing if there's any serious uh, issues going on in your brain, and they looked at him thoroughly and they didn't see anything serious. So once he was cleared there, he was good to go. It was all just on him. And that Dolphin team, they need him, man, because Tua, he can make all the throws. He's not like those other quarterbacks, the backups, to where those guys they can't make those throws. And you got playmakers in Tyreek Hill and Eric Waddle. I knew they were going to be a team that made some noise once they got Tyreek Hill. Eric Waddle, he's a phenomenal playmaker too, but that dude Hill, man, he puts pressure on those secondaries. Now, Dolphins, they have to worry about that defense, man, because their defense has been, in a few of these games, they've been, disappointing. So that defense has to play better. Last week when they played the Steelers, obviously, Steelers are not really a serious team. So, and they're going to be able to play good against a rookie quarterback. But when they play against teams that play against pro veteran quarterbacks, these guys are able to gash that Miami Dolphins defense. So they have to worry about that. They got to find a way to get better pressure on quarterbacks, and that secondary has to do a better job at defending receivers, man. But besides that, their offense is on fire right now, man. And I knew this was the game that Tua was going to come back and look like he was looking at the start of the season. But it was a good game. They came back and they took control of the game in the second half. I knew they were going to, because the Lions are a team that always they start good, but they can't ever finish games.
Right.
So far, based on the record and the way we got it situated, before I even mentioned the Dolphins, I was 18-12. Richie Rich was 19-11, and Ross was 18-12. But with the Dolphins win, I've jumped up to 19-12. Richie Rich is now 20-11, and Ross, since you picked the Dolphins too, you're 19-12.
Hmm. But I think there's more games that finished than the Dolphins.
Oh, we going down the list now. Don't
Okay.
get it twisted.
Okay. Hold
I
on.
just started with the Dolphins because, I'm just happy that Tua is balling.
Let me go ahead and pull up my list
Now
because
let's get to the next game.
we all know how
The
things get lost in the sauce.
Ravens versus the Buccaneers.
I had the Ravens.
I know you had the Ravens. I picked the Buccaneers, so that was a loss for me. Richy Rich also picked the Ravens as well too. So Richy Rich and Ross, why y'all pick the Ravens to win that game?
Because I feel like the Ravens are going to put entirely too much pressure on Tom Brady to be perfect,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not the same Tom Brady. Let's be honest. He has off-field issues, and he's getting older, and he just doesn't have that team, that perfect team. Tom Brady was so dominant in that championship run. Because let's be honest.
Ron?
Let's be honest. Any quarterback, not any quarterback, but any competent quarterback with that team, how perfect it was, could at least not competent, but any quarterback in the top 5 could have got that team to a Super Bowl because it was just perfect. They had a run game. They had AB. They had the other dude, Mike whatever. I forget his name. They had Gronk. They had playoff Lenny. They just had everything. But this team is not perfect like that. He has to do things he hasn't done since like his first 3 years in the league, like move around in the pocket and shit like that. It's too much for him. So I knew the Ravens were going to bring too much for him.
I mean, just like Tom Russ said, man, it's time for Brady to retire, man. You know what I'm saying? He's the GOAT. You got to give it to him. 7 Super Bowls. He's the clutchest quarterback that I know that played the game. He's a guy you can't count out. But the game has just passed him by, and he doesn't have the weapons on this team like he had 2 seasons ago. And we all know how it works. And there's a thing called a salary cap. When you're paying that much payroll for these players, and it's like how the Rams are doing now. You're paying all that payroll for these players. The owner's going to keep doing that until you actually win. After you win, then the owner is not going to pay those guys because they were spending money those countless years to keep you as a contender. And now you finally won. They don't have that pressure on them to continue paying for that roster. So they're going to let guys go. That's what happened to the Bucs. They lost players. They don't have the same talent on that team anymore. Gronkowski retired. Once he was able to win a Super Bowl with Brady, I figured that guy was going to retire. He was like, because that guy's been banged up, for most of his career, and he's helped Tom Brady win some Super Bowls. So he's a big part of why Tom Brady's been successful these past few years. But once he lost that guy, I was like, man, this is going to be a tough year for Brady. And there's no way you're gonna beat the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. He's trying to get contract. He's trying to get that contract. So these games they can't afford to lose them. Because the Ravens, they're gonna try to pit that stuff against Lamar. So Lamar has to ball out, and the Ravens are just they were playing better as a team. So the Bucs, they're all over the place. They weren't going to win that game.
I hear y'all. One thing Ross said I agree with was he said, any competent quarterback would have taken them to the Super Bowl.
I took that back. Because competent is
okay. You took it back.
Competent, yeah, competent is.
I was about to say Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, competent is middle of the pack.
Okay.
At the middle of the pack and above. Anything below the middle of the pack to me is incompetent. I mean, any top 5 quarterback could have got that team to the Super Bowl because it was just perfect, and the top 2 or 3 could have won it. You know what I'm saying? That team,
honestly,
that team was probably the most perfect team he ever played on. All things considered, running game, defense, offensive line, he barely got touched that year.
you're right about all of those things
Yeah.
that you said. But honestly, Tom Brady, let's not forget Tom Brady's still Tom Brady. You know what
Oh,
I'm
we're not.
saying? And
I'm not taking away from Tom Brady, but at that time, Tom Brady was not Tom Brady that we know. He's got older, man.
yeah, but
Yeah,
Tom Brady was still better than that. Tom Brady was still better than I would say 90% of the quarterbacks in the league.
yeah,
Still,
yeah, yeah. That's top five.
but my thing is when I would say top three. The only reason why I would say that, like to me, there's only two other quarterbacks that if you gave them that team, they will go to the Super Bowl and do what Tom Brady did, and that's Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Everybody else outside of that is a big if for me, a big if. Even though they're talented quarterbacks, et cetera, it's a big if.
They'll
Only
get
reason why I
there.
say that is because they
They
don't
would get
have
there, but they wouldn't win.
exactly because they don't have that makeup. Like
They
you have to
wouldn't
have that
win.
makeup, and
Yeah,
even the ones that are outside of those guys that would have that team, I feel like unless their team played perfect, super perfect, like that squad would have to play super perfect. And when Tom Brady had that squad, they didn't always play super perfect. There were some games where Tom Brady had to just be Tom Brady, but Tom Brady didn't have to be Tom Brady as much. But when you look at quarterbacks outside of Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, guys like Aaron Rodgers, guys like Josh Allen, these types of people, they would have found a way to nut it up and probably still don't even get into the Super Bowl with that team. Only reason why I'm saying that is because it's a mental thing. And that's what I love about football that has not changed, even though football has regressed in terms of the dynamics of what it used to be and where it's at now. One thing that I still like about the sport is with quarterbacks, it's a mental thing. And a lot of reasons why a lot of quarterbacks don't get over the hump and why Tom Brady is the GOAT of quarterbacks and why Lamar Jackson is who he is now and why Patrick Mahomes is who he is. Those guys are they're mentally wired different than other quarterbacks. And they can do what they do. And I don't feel like other quarterbacks outside of those three guys can do what those guys can do. They're just different. To me, there's is levels, there's gears, and those guys are the ultimate levels and the gears of the shit. So to me, I feel like it's a top three scenario. I'm not what you're saying makes sense, but
yeah,
I'm just basically saying that there's less on that list to do what Brady does because Brady does what he does so much that sometimes it could be overlooked and sometimes it could be spoiled a little bit.
yeah.
But but people got to understand the level of greatness it takes, even with him declining, the level of greatness it takes for him to do what he does. And I feel like a lot of these quarterbacks in the league, they be making these types of mistakes that they be making, and they just have these mental lapses that they do. Outside of those two other guys that I mentioned, I don't think there's other quarterbacks that can just do what those guys do. That's just me. But you know, this is
Yeah,
just a difference of opinion.
I think me and you are talking about two different things. I'm just
No,
talking about.
we're talking the same thing.
Right, right.
What I'm
Not,
saying is I'm just shortening the list a little bit. You say
yeah.
top five, I'm just saying top three. Like I feel
Now,
like it's even more. I feel like the group is even more smaller because I don't
yeah,
think there's quarterbacks in the league that's nice like that for them to even have a squad like that and still go to the Super Bowl. I feel like they'll go to the AFC or NFC championship game and still lose, even with a squad like that. Because I don't think
yeah,
they nice like that. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah. I don't think. I think your focus is more on Tom Brady. My focus is on the team, right? My focus is on that team. You know what I'm saying? Like Lamar Jackson and especially Patrick Mahomes because he already did it. They don't
Mhm.
necessarily need a perfect team, and they can still do that. So there's guys under them that could do that because Lamar Jackson don't need a perfect team because he can run himself. He can make plays himself. You know what I'm saying?
But remember,
Just
Brady has gone to the Super Bowl without perfect teams too. I'm just talking about that perfect
yeah, yeah. We talk.
team
Yeah, yeah.
year.
You're talking about a younger Brady. We talking about the Brady the last
This
3 4
Brady.
years.
This
This
Brady.
Yeah,
Brady can't. This Brady can't go to a team. Go to a go to a Super Bowl without a perfect team. That doesn't mean he's not great. That just means that the league has caught up to him. These
yeah.
athletes.
I feel like Brady this year, pre this year, Brady's done. But
Last year
anything,
he was done.
but last year's Brady could still go to the Super Bowl. That's how great Brady was. Like
Yeah,
I feel like
he
this is
could
the
with a
year.
perfect
I
with a
feel like
perfect
this
team.
is
He
the
could.
year. This is the year that Brady's toasted. Like in my mind, he's toasted.
I saw actually I saw it the year he won the Super Bowl. I saw he wasn't the same because he was struggling in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
Because
You,
let's be honest. Let's be honest. And boxing fan times four is right about that. You're gonna see they're gonna try to do that shit to Lamar too at some point when he gets elder in his years too. They want Brady out, man. It's something that because Brady wins too much. When it's something I'm noticing in the NFL, and I've always noticed with football fans, they hate Tom Brady. They hate, and you mentioned Tom Brady, man. I hate you always hear people say, why you always ask them why you hate Tom Brady? Because the motherfucker win too much. People just hate people that win too much. I don't know what it is about that. People just hate that. So I do feel to a certain extent, yes, Brady has declined. You are right. Everything that you're saying,
right.
Ross is
I was
right.
gonna say everything I'm saying is backed up by stats.
No. I'm not
Yeah,
discounting what you're saying. What
and
I'm saying is there is also an element of the NFL don't want Brady no more. Like they're
right,
trying to
right,
push him out.
right, right. But they're not making him lose. They're just not protecting him no more. They're not giving him those calls they used to give him no more. They're not helping him no more. Basically, they're just
and
letting him.
then and
He
then making him take hits
right,
that normally quarterbacks like him are not supposed to take to
right,
get him out of the game.
right. Which means that he was getting unfair treatment from the beginning because all the rest of the quarterbacks was taking those hits.
Well, I
You know what I'm
won't say
saying?
unfair. What I'll just say is because of the type of quarterback he is, because he's limited. He's not like Lamar where he can move on his feet. He's
That's
just the best version. He's just the best version of a pass protected quarterback, and they're just not protecting him. That's all. Like Aaron Rodgers is getting protected, but I don't think it's because like they're protecting him because of that sense. It's just he's O line. He got a better fucking O line, and his O line, they're doing what they're supposed to make sure he don't get touched. Brady, Tampa Bay. I'm not saying their O line is not great, but there's a combination of those guys are probably worn out with Brady, and that does happen with your quarterbacks. No matter how great a quarterback is, um, your team can get worn out by that player because that player may be too archaic in the way he does things. Like he might just be too old school, and they want him out. They want him fizzled out, and those guys are younger, they're more modern, and they don't want to deal with that no more. So because of that, it's fucked up that they do it,
it.
but they let the quarterback get hit. I know this because I played the quarterback position. I remember when I used to get into shit with the O line, those motherfuckers would let me get hit. They grind me like that. You start talking
But
shit,
low key,
these motherfuckers they let you get hit.
I disagree. I disagree with Tom Brady's playing bad because the NFL wants him out. The fact of the matter is, these defensive players have evolved. They're just flat out better, man. And you only had 3 seconds top to get rid of that ball. Majority of the time, 2.5 seconds to get rid of the ball, right? So what they doing with Tom Brady is this the reason why he's getting hit so much. People have caught on to how he plays. Tom Brady is someone that Tom Brady would nickel and dime you to death if you let him underneath.
Yeah,
They're playing everything underneath, making him hold the ball, so he has to take a hit to get rid of the
exactly.
ball. The,
But
the
he
office,
doesn't
the
have. But
office, the o-
you have to understand. You have to understand. Even with Tom
hold
Brady,
on, I ain't done.
okay,
The offensive line is it sometimes all offensive lines blow calls sometimes, but they're not blowing calls. He's holding on to the ball way too long, and he is not mobile enough to scramble and get out of the way. So he's getting rocked, and a lot of times because he don't want to get rocked, he's just throwing the ball at the ground. So he's looking bad, really, because these defensive players are just way better than what they used to be, and he's not the old Tom Brady. The old Tom Brady, I say the Tom Brady 2010 from 2000 2005 2005 to like 2016. Nah, 16 he was kind of bad in that Super Bowl. I said like 2013, 14, he could still deal with this shit. This old Tom Brady, because Tom Brady's he just get in there and just get hit and make the pass. This old Tom Brady ain't trying to take them hits, man. He's throwing a lot of balls in the dirt. You know what I'm saying? Because these defensive players, they just that's the reason why all these new guys that are succeeding, like Tua, these young guys, what do they all got in common? They all fucking mobile, man. They all
Yeah,
mobile.
I'm
That's
gonna
the
say this because this is. I'm glad we finally had this moment. It's a big disagree to disagree because if you're saying the defensive players got better, then that tells me the defensive players were trash all of those years. Because why did it take them so many years to figure out Tom Brady was nickel and diamond? It's not like what Tom Brady was doing was rocket science. Let's keep it a buck. Tom Brady just don't have the weapons. If Tom Brady had the weapons like Gronk and all that, I don't give a fuck how good these defensive
Nah,
players are. Tom
it's
Brady
more,
would have still been dropping
it's more than
400,
that. It's more than
500
that.
Nah,
yards on those
nah,
motherfuckers.
hell no,
Tom
man.
Brady has some great O lines. Them dudes could never get to him because of those O lines that he played with, man. Now the O line ain't good. Them defensive players are able to rock him.
Yeah, so it's not the
This was
defensive players
evident.
are better. It's not the defensive players are better. It's just Tom Brady don't got the weapons he used to. If he had the weapons, them defensive guys wouldn't touch him. Tom Brady would have still been running 2 minutes on their ass all day, every day. Even this old Tom Brady. So I don't think it's the defensive guys got better. I just think that Tom Brady is not what he used to be. I agree with you on that, Ross, but I also agree with the fact that Tom Brady doesn't have what he had. But I don't agree with the defensive part. I don't agree with that. Because if Tom Brady had what he had, I don't care how good these guys get. They eating 300, 400 yards. They're going to eat that shit regardless. You give him Gronk and you give him an O-line, them motherfuckers are eating 400 yards. I don't
Well,
care
I
how
mean,
good they think they are.
we know how the game is. You can't play with the same people forever. People
That's true.
age, people get older,
Right,
and
right,
that's how it is. At some point, Father Time comes knocking.
That's true. That's true.
right.
That's
And
true.
you try to your love for Tom Brady is overpowering the fact that something is what it is. Nobody's a bigger Tom Brady fan than me. My name is Thomas, man. Nobody a bigger Tom Brady fan than me. But my realistic viewpoints is bigger than my fandom, and I know what I'm seeing. I'm seeing it. I'm seeing him miss wide open people because he don't want to get hit. I'm seeing it, and it's not the O line ain't protect him. The O line is not giving him a ridiculous amount of time to throw the ball. A good O
We
line,
get
a good O line gives you 3 seconds, 3.5. That's a good O line.
we get
Tom
we get
Brady needs like 4 seconds, 5 seconds now. That's too long.
I ain't gonna disagree with your name part, but we could agree to disagree on biggest Tom Brady fan. We could agree to disagree. Richie Rich, no, we could agree to disagree on that. But your name is Tom, by the way, so
Well,
I'm not gonna take that away from you.
the thing about me, the reason why I might not seem that way, because I've never been a fan of somebody to where I can't be honest about them. Like I was a Kobe fan heavy, but I was also a Kobe fan and be like, this game he shot the ball too much. I was that Kobe fan that could be honest about Kobe. You know
Oh,
what I'm saying?
I'm always honest. I'm the main one.
Oh yeah,
that
I'm talking
I'm
about
the main
me.
one telling.
Yeah.
I'm the main one telling anybody if I see a guy's level drop, they drop. I'm not sitting here saying that Tom Brady's level has not dropped. It has dropped because knowing the level that I'm accustomed to, where he picks you apart. Because I've seen games where Tom Brady takes the team that always licks up Tom Brady is the Dolphins. That's the team that beats him up. But Tom Brady will still throw. He'll still get 3-4 touchdowns. He'll lose in the game, but he'll still get 3 or 4 touchdowns and walk out gingerly. He's not that Tom Brady anymore. But what I'm saying is, let's not act like the defense is nice like that. Because if Tom Brady still has Gronk and he still has a full squad, he's still picking these motherfuckers apart. I'm even this Tom Brady still picking them apart. That's how great Tom Brady is to me. That's what I'm saying from that standpoint. I'm not saying that Tom Brady has not fell off. Yes, he's fallen off, but he's still better than 95% of the pack, even in his fall off state. That's all I'm saying. Even in his fall off state, I would pick him over 95% of the quarterbacks. Am I picking him over Josh Allen? Hell no. Am I picking Josh Allen over him? Hell no. Am I picking Russell Wilson over him? Hell no. I'm not picking. Am I picking Jameis Winston over Tom Brady? Hell no. That's the point I'm trying to say. Am I picking Cam Newton over Tom? Hell no. There's only 2 quarterbacks in the league that if you threw at me that I'm picking over Tom Brady all day, every day. Even Tua. As much as I like Tua, I ain't picking him over no damn. I ain't picking him over no damn Tom Brady.
Are we
There's
not? The
only
thing
two
is,
quarterbacks in the league I'm picking.
I see what this is. You can't separate what Tom Brady was from what he is now. Tua is better than Tom Brady right now.
I'm
He
still not
is.
picking Tua over no Brady. I'm still not doing that. There's only 2 quarterbacks that if I got to get rid of Brady for, you could tell me that'd be Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. And the only reason why I know is because I know what Patrick Mahomes is all about, and I know what Lamar Jackson is all about. These guys are game-changing quarterbacks. Like, there's like a changing of guards. In order for you to remove the old lion that's the game changer, you got to bring in the new lions that are the game changers. And the new lions that's the game changers are Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Those are game-changing quarterbacks. Those are guys that are so dynamic, they impact your whole franchise. These are the quarterbacks we talking about. They good, they nice, but they not impacting your damn franchise, man. They not. They're not on that kind of level. They're not transformative like that. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm just putting that out there like that. Even though Brady's in a reduced state, I'm still picking. That's like Kobe. When Kobe came back from the Achilles, right? From year 18 to 20. Do you know I was still saying, even though I ain't want Kobe to continue playing basketball, I ain't picking no damn, I'm going to be honest with you. Now, I might get flack for that, but I ain't picking no damn Stephen Curry over that, Kobe. Hell no. Heck to the damn no.
Stephen Curry overall still wasn't better than that Kobe. Overall, he still wasn't. Stephen Curry couldn't guard nobody. He still wasn't better than that Kobe. But there were people who were better than that Kobe at that point.
But if you ask, you know why I'm saying this, Ross? Because if you ask a lot of people from year 17 to 20, a lot of people would have said, "Nah, I'm getting rid of Kobe. I'm getting Steph." That's what they would have said. Because Steph's younger, right? They would have said Steph's younger. He's this, he's that, blah blah blah. But I don't see that. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, to me, what you seeing from Tom Brady is what you saw from Kobe from year 17 to 20. Is that reduced state, but it's still great. That's all I'm saying. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes, so.
But by the way, you guys are ahead of me record-wise. Right now, Ross is 20-12, Richy Rich is 21-11, and I'm 19-13 after this whole Ravens and Bucks. Sometimes you guys need to see this. The way we go at it sometimes, because it's good. It just tells you guys we just have a difference of opinion when it comes to certain things. All right, let's get to the Broncos and the Jaguars. All right, the game was a close game, 21-17. I picked the
Jaguars, he knows.
I'm checking. Yeah, I picked the Jaguars.
Yeah. Right.
I got 2 weeks here. So I have to make sure I scroll down. I picked the Jaguars. No, okay.
Right. That shit should not take that long.
14
losses. Ross, you picked the Jaguars too. Why you laughing?
I didn't. No, I did. I picked the Seahawks.
Ross picked the Broncos, man.
I picked the Seahawks. I picked the Broncos. Like you talking about? Yo, what you doing, man?
I ain't doing nothing, man.
Bro.
Ross is 21-12.
Bro, even if you win that way, you still got to get yourself in the mirror. Just to be honest.
Ross is 21-12. Richy Rich is 21-11.
I'm 22-11.
Yeah,
I picked the Broncos, bro.
I said 22-11.
Hey, Richy Rich. Hey, can you be the one to keep track of the wins and losses for that one?
I got it right here. I got it right here. I got it all right here.
22-11. Ross is 21-12, and I'm 19-14 after this one. But anyway,
I could have sworn I was just 21-12.
No, you was 20-12.
Okay,
you went from 19-12 to 20-12 to 21-12. You won too.
All right.
You won behind Richy Rich. He's 22-11. You 21-12, right?
All right, let's get it.
All right, and I'm 19-14.
All right.
All right. So, how did you guys see this game playing out with the Broncos and the Jaguars? What did you guys think it was going to be a tough game like this, 21-17?
Yep. Because the Broncos team, their leadership is trash. They got not trash, but they're all inexperienced. Inexperienced coach, inexperienced defensive coach, inexperienced offensive coordinator, and Russell Wilson in a new system. So even when he wins, it's going to be ugly. Next year, the Broncos going to be way better. But this year, everything going to be ugly. Everything going to be hard fought because everybody's learning something new.
Exactly. I kind of felt that the Broncos, if they won this game, it was going to be a tough, fought out game. But I knew they was going to win it because the Jaguars are a turnover prone team, man.
Right.
They were going to give the Broncos opportunities to win the game because they don't take care of the football.
Okay.
Let's get to the next game. Panthers and Falcons. I picked the Falcons to win, so that puts me at 20-14. Memory serves me well. Ross, you picked the Panthers.
Yep.
So you got 21-13. And Richy Rich, I have you picking the Falcons, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Richy Rich is 23-11. Ross is 21-13, and I'm 20-14. So the game was a pretty close game, man. It's a lot of close games this week. 37-34, but it was high scoring. Did you guys think this was going to be a high scoring game?
No.
Nah,
I
not
think it's
really.
gonna be a high scoring game, but at the same time, man, nowadays anything can happen because how they schedule the games. If you notice this season, they have scheduled the game so competitive from the jump, from the beginning, from the first week. It was heavy hitters, man. It's like, I think they got a new schedule or some shit because it seems like a lot of these games have like playoff field soon, like a playoff field. So it's like anything can happen any week. Anything can fucking happen.
Facts.
Yeah, man. I mean, the Falcons actually had this game in the bag. At the last few seconds, the defense lets up and let DJ Moore get like a 40-yard bomb in the end zone. But DJ Moore is kind of the one that kind of hurt them at the same time because he took his helmet off, and that they penalized the Panthers on the field goal kick. So they made the kicker have to kick it from a further distance. Like it was like a 40-some yard field goal. The kicker missed that field goal, which would have won them the game because it was the extra point. They tied it 34-34, and if they made the kick, it would have been 35-34 with the Falcons getting the ball back with only 12 seconds left. So the Saints would have won the game. So the kicker misses it. They go into overtime. Falcons burn most of the clock, and they kick a field goal, and they win the game. This is a crazy game.
Crazy as hell.
This game right here, I'm so happy to hand both of y'all that L. So we're going to talk about it. That was the Saints versus the Raiders. I was the only one to pick the Saints. Y'all both picked the Raiders. The Saints dominated them 24-0. I know both of y'all didn't see that coming because both of y'all was talking that shit about the Raiders.
Hell no, I ain't see that shit coming, man. The Raiders were never supposed to lose to the Saints in this predicament, man. the Raiders, the Raiders let me down, man.
They got blown out 24-0.
You got lucky with that pick, bro.
Yeah, you did.
I just went off of the strength of the schedule. The strength of the schedule told me the Saints should have won that game, and I'm glad I picked off of that. So right now, Ross is 21-14. I'm 21-14. I'm getting that little momentum, but Richy Rich, you 23-12. We on your heels now again. We on your heels.
Not. No, you not.
We on your heels.
I already know how this gonna play out.
All right, let's get to the next one. Commodores versus the Colts.
Commanders.
Did I say it wrong? When Ross laughed like that means I said it wrong. Did I say it wrong?
I just think it's funny. I ain't losing no sleep behind you saying that shit that way.
That laugh, I know that laugh. That laugh meant I must have butchered it. How am I supposed to say it? Commodores?
That's how you said it. It's Commanders.
Oh, Commanders. My bad. Commanders versus the Colts. I picked the Commanders to win. So that puts me at 22-14. And now, Ross, you picked the Colts. If memory serves me well.
No, I didn't.
We all picked the Commanders, man. Stop.
Yeah, stop doing that, man.
All right, Richy Rich 24-12.
Stop trying to cheat, bro.
Ross is 22-12.
Why you keep trying to do that?
Ross is 22-14, and I'm 22-14. Okay, all right. Hey, everybody. Okay.
Oh, I see what it is. Whenever
neck, you know.
I see. No. I see what it is. He conveniently forget how to count. Whenever he getting close to passing somebody, or somebody might pass him, then all of a sudden he forget who picked who.
Hey man, I'm on his neck, bro.
All right, so we're gonna go to the Titans versus the Texans. The Titans 17, the Texans 10. In that game, I picked.
You
Fuck,
picked
We
what
the
all
is it?
picked the
Texans, I
Titans.
believe. I pick, oh yeah, oh,
Yeah,
oh,
I
yeah, I
picked
picked
the
the
Titans.
Titans.
Which was Titans. Titans. No, actually, I picked the Texans. The
I picked the Titans.
Texans.
Rich, what he picked? I forgot. I know
I picked the
who
You
you
picked
picked.
Texans.
the
Heknows.
you picked the Tennessee Titans. I remember this.
Huh?
We all picked the Tennessee Titans.
Oh,
I made sure I wrote it down.
all right. So I'm 23 and 14. Richie Rich is 24 and 13, right?
I'm 25 and 12.
Oh, 25 and 12.
Right.
And Ross is 23 and 14. So Richie Rich is 25 and 12, and me and Ross are 23 and 14. Let's break down that game, man. Let's talk about the Commodores and the
The
Colts first.
Commanders, the Commanders.
Oh, Commanders, the Commanders and the Colts. What happened in that game with the Commodores and the Colts? 17-16.
It was an ugly game, man. I mean,
Yeah. Like I
it
thought it
was
was
a
gonna
talk.
be.
Yeah, honestly, I thought anybody was going to win that game. It was such a toss-up game because you got the Commanders, man, who are they have a whole bunch of issues. Carson Wentz isn't playing. Heineke, he's not a bad quarterback, but he's like a game manager, and you know how that is sometimes. Uh, he's not gonna put up a lot of points. You're gonna have to count on the run game and the defense, which their run game was non-existent. So this game ended up being a harder game for the Commanders uh, because the Colts, they do have a decent defense, but their offense is all over the place. Matt Ryan got benched, and they had this the backup out there, Sam Ellinger, who didn't really play that well, but they were able to keep the game close because it's two bad football teams. So one team had to win. I thought the Commanders had the better overall team. That's why I chose them.
Yeah,
What about
yeah.
you, bro?
Yeah. The Colts they had a quarterback issue. They just benched Matt Ryan. Whenever you bench a former MVP, there's a lot of shit going on in your establishment. And I
I,
just thought, and I just thought that with all that shit going on, there was no possible way they could win this game. And I was right.
Yeah,
you think that's going to haunt them for the rest of the season by them benching the MVP?
Now, because they could always take him off the bench. Well, think
exactly.
about it, is Matt Ryan, like Tom Brady, even though they're not in the same category, but they're in the same position. They're getting older,
Older.
and the league has passed them by. The,
Yeah,
the, the league has that just it's too fast. Look at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers going through the same thing. It's just too fast for him, man.
Yeah.
Before he people don't realize this. What Lamar Jackson does, what he does and make it look so easy, it's not easy. How
It's
he
not easy
avoids
because he's just dynamic, man, and the league is not too fast for him.
right. It's not easy. He's as fast as these guys, so he can still make those plays. But these guys, but Aaron it's too fast for him, man. So
There's one thing about football that I like. Once a guy starts getting to a downgraded level, it's very noticeable because guys move. You got guys that weigh 300 plus pounds. They running a 4.4, so they'll catch you.
yeah. That's how this league is now. Dudes are just these defensive guys, man, are running 4.4. Some of them are even running 4.3. The athletic freaks on defense. So it's hard to get away from these guys.
Yeah,
Reggie Bush found that out once he came into the league.
yeah, because Reggie Bush's style, his style was not conducive for the NFL because he ran that East West shit. In the
Yeah,
NFL, to be a good running back, you can have East West moments when you're trying to pick up small short yards or yards where you're trying to just juke a guy, like throw them out of bounds, and then you could just go ahead and dump in and get the first. But if you're trying to go straight picking up yards, you need to be a north-south back. And that's why he didn't last. He just wasn't a north-south back.
mhm.
So let's get to the next game. I'm surprised that, and I got to eat this one because I thought they were going to win. I picked the Giants to win, but they didn't,
Yeah,
and they lost. And they lost actually by two touchdowns against the Seahawks of all people.
yeah, we know. We know because this is the game. I was like, this is the game he going. This is the game he gonna try to pull it, try to act like he played. He picked the Seahawks, but he did it.
Yeah, I was straight up about this one because I was really shocked because I thought the Giants were going to just continue on their dominance, man. They didn't. So I'm the only one that picked the Giants, right?
Yeah.
That's the Seahawks. I picked them because guess what? Their coach was always defensive minded. The offense was always marginal. Russell Wilson made that offense. The offense was marginal, but the defense has always been respectable. And with Giants, the Giants aren't really that dynamic. You stop the run game. The reason why they look like that against the fucking Ravens, because the Ravens have mental lapses. They have players on their team who make mental lapses, like forget coverages and shit. But it was just, but if you can stop the run against that team and make dude stay in the pocket and throw the ball, you can win. Dude ain't throwing, he ain't throwing the ball around like that. He ain't flinging that bitch like that.
Yep.
Yeah, it was evident, man, watching the game before the weekend, the game the week before where Giants they beat the Jaguars, but they were struggling to win that game. I knew the Seahawks were going to beat them because playing in that Seahawks stadium, man, it's not easy, man. Those fans are loud as hell, man.
Yep.
And
the 12.
That's what they call them.
Ross knows because he was stationed there, and me, I know because I go to Seattle a lot. Yeah, they are crazy out there, man.
Yeah, they crazy out there. I'm a 49ers fan. I know too because my team had issues with that team years ago when Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch was on that team. I remember they always lose over there whenever they had to go in Seattle because it's too loud. And that Pete Carroll, man, he has that team. He has those boys playing right now. Geno Smith, man, he's a surprise, but it's about time that dude got his shot now, and he's making everybody eat crow. I hope he continues to have success because that dude has been a bench a backup quarterback for a long time, and he's able to process the information. Everything that he's learned, you seeing all his body of work that he's picked up from all these starters now in the culmination, and I hope he continues to have success.
And low key,
it's apparent that Saquon Barkley is the MVP of that team because look, this is the game where he does not perform up to par. He doesn't have the numbers, and it's ironic he doesn't have the numbers, and then they lose.
Yeah, one thing is they have to get the run game off. If they could get the run game off, they could get some play action passes off. But they can't get that off, then it's gonna be slim pickings. But the thing about what he said about Geno already had a passing prowess coming out of Virginia. He always could pass the ball. He was never put in a team who actually dedicated time to cultivate that. It was when black quarterbacks come to the NFL, they expected to perform right away.
Yeah,
right away. And there's no Peyton Manning. There's no Peyton Manning gloves with black quarterbacks. Peyton Manning has 7 years to get it right. Several years, Peyton Manning threw over 20 interceptions. He had several years to get it right, and then once he got it right, he was like a coach on the field. But they allow him to develop. Black quarterbacks don't get that. You could develop, but you're not gonna start. Not no black quarterback. Right. They don't get that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad he's finally getting his shine.
Yeah.
I'm just tripping about this.
So hold on. Let's do a recap. What's the winning right now? Because you just took another L.
Well, I'm 23-15.
Okay.
You 24-14, and Richy is 26-12.
All right. Damn. Richy is trying to take off on
him. He's trying to pull away, but that's not going to happen.
You already know it's going to happen.
There's still so many weeks of football left. and you're not gonna pull away. You just having a good week. That's all.
Okay,
All right, we're
we
gonna
gonna
get to the
see.
next game. Because I'm feeling some type of way about this week. I had a bad week. I'm not gonna lie, man. This has been a bad week. Bad week. A
Trust me,
bad
we know.
week.
We know.
Hey, I know y'all didn't see that Rams game, 49ers game coming.
All right,
I
so
told y'all.
we're gonna save the Rams and 49ers. Let's go to the Cowboys and the Bears. The Cowboys, I got that one. That was a W. Ross, I know you picked your damn Bears.
No, you don't know. I picked the Cowboys. You cheated, motherfucker.
Richy Rich, I know you picked the Bears.
You
No,
know I picked the
he
Bears.
picked the
Don't play with me.
Cowboys too.
Why would I pick the Bears?
And Ross, I could have sworn you said I'm going with my home squad.
Nah, no, I didn't. I said I wanted to go on my home squad, but I don't think they could beat them.
Okay, so why did you guys think the Cowboys were gonna win over the Bears? I mean, they blew them out 49-29. Dak Prescott. One thing that I was right about is he was gonna come back and prove a point because I think he realized it. Maybe he had a satellite on me or some shit, but I think he overheard our live where we said he better come and ball out of control because if he don't, they gonna make that Cooper Rush take his damn job.
I felt like the Bears was going to put up a valiant effort. Believe it or not, my Bears are getting better. They're getting better. But I also know my Bears are young. They're young. That's a young team. And I also
They
know,
do have a young squad.
and I also know Dak Prescott, that team is stacked, man. That's a Super Bowl caliber team. They have
I feel like if the Dallas Cowboys don't win the Super Bowl this year, it's gonna be a letdown. I do feel like that.
they're a stacked team. They got a good quarterback. A good quarterback. They got good receiving. They got good receiving. They got good receiving targets. They got a good line. They got good running backs. They got a good ass defense. Like they got everything. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, they put everything together. So if Jerry Jones don't win this year, honestly, Dak Prescott is on the clock this year. Like I've never been able to put him on the clock.
Now, but low key, he should not be on the clock. He shouldn't be on the. Did you realize Dak Prescott
be on no clock?
Dak Prescott ain't even been in the NFL that long. He should not be on no clock, man. Y'all, man, the standards for black quarterbacks is ridiculous.
I'm not saying that. I'm not making the standard because he's black quarterback or white quarterback. And you're right when it comes to the marginal disproportion of black quarterbacks. You know how I feel about that. We're on the same page with that. I'm just saying for me, I feel like this year, I'm just looking at it from just straight football. The squad that they have the squad to pull it off. So if they don't pull it off, I feel like that's a failure. It's a letdown year. Like I don't see why they can't get to the Super Bowl with everything clicking. Like how many teams in football can we say right now has everything clicking? Defense, offense, quarterback position, wide receiver, running back, coaching, general managing, ownership. Who's more loyal to their players than Jerry Jones? Like they have everything clicking right now. So I don't see why there should be any excuses for them to not get the job done. That's all I'm saying from a football standpoint. I just wanted to clarify that. Not, I'm hard on Dak Prescott or whatever. You're right.
Nah. Me, you, and Richy Rich, it's already an underlying understanding that we have. What I'm saying is, I'm speaking. So sometimes when I speak, I'm not necessarily speaking to a person. I'm speaking to a general point of view.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily you saying this is what you think. I'm speaking to a general point of view, and truth be told, I feel like the minimum. I feel like everybody should be treated how Peyton Manning was treated. He was allowed to fail, man. So he got good. He was allowed to make mistakes without having to look over his shoulder and get fired. You know what I'm saying?
You know what, Ross? I gotta say this real quick. The only reason why I do this with Richy Rich and you, you guys' voice are extremely powerful. And even though we're not saying things against each other, the people that are listening in, because you guys are so good at painting the picture, of what the story is, and you're not doing that maliciously or you're not doing it as a lie, you're doing it telling the truth, you have people walk away believing that, and they'll be like, man, he knows it's on some fuck shit, even though that's not what you guys are doing. And that's why I re-clarify, because I know the audience we're dealing with. So sometimes you just got to clarify so everybody walks away with an overall understanding. Because if not, that's why you think that time Ross will tell you, Richie, you don't know this. There was a time we had a boxing live. It was off of Loma's loss. Ross kept saying, "Let me get in." I did not let him in. I was not letting that happen. That was not because he was gonna come in there and paint that damn picture. It would have been over. And I remember everybody was like, "Ross, when Ross coming in, man?" I just completely ignored those people because I can ignore the hell out of people really good. I acted like I didn't see those comments because I knew if you would have came in there, it would have been over. But see, it's not even that. It's not even a situation where we're butting heads. It's a situation where we're all on the same page. But I'm just saying the power of how you guys paint the picture. So I do the clarifications not for you guys and not for me, but for the audience that's listening in, so they can know that we're not basically like stepping on each other's toes. And even if we are stepping on each other's toes, it's not happening in a way where we're just bulldozing each other. And that's why I do that more so than anything else. But yeah, continue on what you were saying.
Yeah, man. I'm done, man. I'm just glad I'm sitting back here and I'm racking up these wins.
That's okay, good. All right, so let's get to the next game. All right, Richie Rich, we could talk about that game. It was that was the game you wanted to talk shit about. The 49ers and the Rams, 31-14. We know why you picked your team. You just picked your team because it was your team.
No.
Yeah,
you guys got to do your homework between the Rams and the
you picked the 49ers. You always you said that.
It's not
Ross. Did he not say that last week? He's always
said that last week.
He said this is what he said. I don't know why he in his mind why he picked them, but he said, "Come on, man, that's the Niners, baby. You know that's my team."
See?
Yeah,
but
I said that.
I said that.
Yeah, they're my team. I'm always gonna pick them. But you guys should have did your homework. The 49ers own the Rams. The Rams are the Niners' little brother. I don't know why you guys wasn't paying attention to that.
No, my thing is,
you saw what they did to them a few weeks ago on Monday Night Football.
No, my thing is, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to choose the Niners when they're quarterback by Jimmy Garoppolo, man.
Exactly.
But thing about it is, I had to realize
Garoppolo's garbage.
Jimmy Garoppolo is a mediocre quarterback.
But here's
he's garbage, man.
No. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. Here's the thing I gotta understand. I gotta understand one thing. Jimmy Garoppolo and Matthew Stafford ain't much difference. Why? Matthew Stafford do too much and will cost you the game, and Jimmy Garoppolo can't do enough. So I was supposed to look at who had the momentum going into the game. And San Fran had the momentum going to the game, and I didn't think about that, and they won. Because truth be told, one guy do way too much, and one guy can't do enough. So it really depends on who's hot at the moment.
You know why I can't stand Jimmy Garoppolo, because Jimmy Garoppolo was the end of Colin Kaepernick. That's why. And if they had to pick him to be the end,
bro, don't do that.
It was at the end of Colin Kaepernick. What you talking about,
bro? The end of Colin Kaepernick was the NFL.
Yeah,
the NFL in the Colin Kaepernick. They said, "Oh, you want to stand up? We gonna kick you out of this fucking league."
But you know why? You know why I had to? You know why I levied a fault against Jimmy Garoppolo too? Because of the fact that they were trying to sell, the 49ers was trying to sell that Jimmy Garoppolo was a better quarterback than Colin Kaepernick, and we all knew that wasn't the
case. Jimmy was never under that regime, man. He was because that was when Jim Harbaugh was there. That was still at least a year or two before Garoppolo was on that team. You got to understand the regimes, man. Like Jim Harbaugh was there, and then they decided to to end the relationship with Jim Harbaugh, and he went back to go coach at Michigan, his alma mater. Then they
I never
hired
asked you
Shanahan.
that. I never asked you that, Richie Rich. Would you have still? How did you feel about Colin Kaepernick not coming back? Would you have wanted Colin Kaepernick? Because I'm honestly, Colin Kaepernick was such a dynamic quarterback. Let's not forget he led the 49ers to a Super Bowl. I felt like if Colin Kaepernick had the opportunity to stay on that squad, and even with all of the controversy and everything, I think the 49ers would be sitting on 1 or 2 more rings by now. I mean,
Nah,
how do
man,
y'all feel
nah,
about that?
bro. That's the thing. Like Colin Kaepernick, man, he fell off. You know what I'm saying? The problem, he was
Did
those
he
years
fall
where he
off,
was
or it
balling.
was just they were putting too much? The NFL was putting too much controversy around him based on him taking a stance that he had every right within his constitutional right to take the stance. This is what I don't understand about the Constitution. The Constitution is supposed to be set up to be free, but it's not free for you. It's not free for me, and it's not free for Ross, people that look like us. It's free for everyone else that does not look like us. But the Constitution says that there's freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of this, freedom of that, and then when you do it, you get stoned for it because you should have the freedom to not want to pledge the allegiance. But once he did that, it became a pariah. He became a pariah all of a sudden. He became a problem. He became a pariah and he became a problem. So do you think if he didn't have all that controversy and he could just focus strictly on football and they didn't put all that pressure on him, do you think he wouldn't have still been successful and performed? That's the question I'm asking you, Richie Rich.
I still think he would have been successful or had a chance to perform, just not with the Niners, because that that relationship came at an impasse. Uh, once Jim Harbaugh left, because he was actually having issues as the quarterback before all that came into play, because
What
his
issues was
play
he having?
his play, like he was becoming more inaccurate as a quarterback.
Yeah,
If you was watching the team, like it was getting hard for him to actually get complete throws to the receivers. Teams were starting to figure him out.
yeah,
Defenses were starting to figure him out.
yeah. The problem was it's hard to perform, and there's no excuse for him because he was starting to play. I wouldn't say bad, but just he wasn't. When you're a black quarterback, you got to be elite. So it's not
Yeah,
fair. But here's the thing: when you know your coach don't want you and waiting for you to fail, it kind of make it even worse for you to. It kind of make it even hard for you to succeed. When if Jim Harbaugh was there, he would have never fell off because Jim Harbaugh wanted him to be the coach, be the quarterback. See what I'm saying? But when
yeah.
dude came in, Shanahan came in. Shanahan didn't want him to be a quarterback. Just like when Shanahan took over, Shanahan when I think his father took over at Watson, he didn't want what's his name, the corny black dude to be the quarterback. I forget his RG3. So
RG3.
he put him in predicaments where he could fail.
Yep.
It put him in predicaments where he could get hurt. Send him across the middle on passing plays,
Yep.
get him a hit, helmet to helmet and
That's
shit.
why he's out of the league now.
You know what I'm saying?
Why he's
So
announcing.
so so he would have never his play toward the end is not it's not indicative of what he really is because he was under a ridiculous amount of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Granted,
Richie, you got
right.
somebody else.
Richard,
You got somebody else that agree with you. Boxing fan. Times 4 said 49ers own the Rams in the NFC Championship. The refs, the refs flagged the Rams all the way to the end zone. So basically, what he was trying to say is they cheated last year.
I mean,
yeah.
I, I don't, I don't want to, like count on that because the Rams beat us. You
They
know,
beat y'all, but I'm gonna
yeah.
tell you something about football. Every game in football is not a straight up played game. Some games are politics. Um,
You thought that was a politic game?
for sure. When Matthew Stafford went to the Rams and started getting all those weapons, all of a sudden I knew he was going to the Super Bowl because Matthew Stafford represent white people, man. He represent. Put it this way, they was touting him to be great, this great talent, but there was nothing. He had no accomplishments, right?
Yeah.
And the year before that, they were saying Matthew Stafford is getting all this praise, but really Lamar Jackson that Lamar Jackson better than him. Why he getting all this praise? He ain't even no MVP.
Yeah.
So immediately after that talking point came about, next you know, Matthew Stafford he get a Super Bowl. Now you can't compare them to because one got a Super Bowl, but really Lamar Jackson's still better than him. I knew that shit was gonna happen. As soon as he went there and he got all those weapons, I said it's over with. He going to the Super Bowl. So when they started cheating San Francisco, that's what they did, right?
Yep.
No game supposed to be decided like that. Even when it's really happening, the refs don't decide games with flags like that unless they're trying to push a certain team. You know what I'm saying? So
you can always count. That's one thing with Ross, boy. You can always count. You can always get that Judah tribe out of that dude, man. That's one thing about the tribe of Judah and the tribe of Levi. The Judah tribe always comes out with a king mentality, man. It's like a rulership mentality. Like I'm always gonna rule the standard of thought into your brain. This is what it is, man. You can always count on Ross to do that, man. And then with us, me and Richy, you always gonna get that letter of the law because he's breaking down. Richy was breaking down the specifics. Man, you don't know, man. The 49ers, they own the Rams, man. You didn't know that? And that's what sparked that comment in the comment section. But Ross is right though. Certain football games are political. Shit, heck, I feel like I'm the biggest Tom Brady fan next to Ross. But even I know some of Tom Brady's football games were political too. Even I know that. But I wasn't complaining. I wasn't complaining because I was a Brady fan.
Tuck rule.
But I can admit it though. You see, that's the difference between me and other people. I can admit it. You know, there's a infamous football game in the playoffs that Brady played. Richy, you know the game.
Yeah.
Till this day, everybody's wondering if the Pats should have went to the Super Bowl that year. Because they didn't. The
Patriots and the Raiders.
Yeah, the Patriots versus the Raiders.
Yeah.
Because a certain throw that wasn't supposed to happen.
The problem is
shout out to Boxing Fan Times 4. I'm glad we mentioned his comment. Look, he sent us a what they call that, super chat. Said because they want to bring the Olympics to LA, they promote LA as the city of champions. Go ahead, Ross.
Yeah, the problem wasn't the rule, because the rule was the rule, was in the rule, but the problem was that wasn't a throw, it was a fumble. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He fumbled. That's a problem. You know what I'm saying? But the rule, it had he not fumbled, his hand was actually going forward, and he was throwing the ball. But they had caught him before his hand was going forward. And even I had to admit, because I was a bigger fan of Charles Woodson at that time than Tom Brady. To be told, I didn't know shit about Tom Brady, really, because when Woodson came to the league, I actually stopped watching Michigan. But I had to admit, I said, damn, this dude came out of nowhere, came off the bench for Drew Bledsoe, and he cold. So I started fucking with him. But that game, I said, damn, I'm salty because that game, I said, damn, I'm salty because if I was on defense, I'll be sick because that's a fumble. My thing is, I play offense and defense. I specialize in making people fumble. Mm-hmm. When I tackle you, you go 9 times out of 10, you go fumble. Unless you just totally focus on not getting on yards and not fumbling, you're gonna fumble, or you know what I'm saying, or you know what I'm saying. So
they gave Brady the benefit of the doubt. It was a fumble, but it was one of those. You know how you have those plays that are just so, they happen so fast in the moment, and you got to go to instant replay. When you're in playoff football and you got to be in that mode, they're gonna give, and that's what I like about football. Basketball and other sports need to pay attention to that. At the end of the day, it's a playoff game, and they're not gonna let a playoff game be decided on something they didn't see in real time, and they got to run an instant replay. Other sports, they don't do it like that. Other sports, they just don't take the time to go and other sports, they do the instant replay, and then when they do the instant replay, sometimes they'll switch the calls and sometimes they won't. Football, it's like, look, man, in real time, this is what happened. You're just gonna have to deal with it. Now it's not right for the other team, and it's not fair, but it is what it is. That was just like that year. Richie
Nah,
Rich knows the
man.
game I'm talking about.
That's
And Ross,
that's
you know the game I'm talking about. The dude that's in jail now for I think he hit who was the woman he hit or whatever. Was it Gabrielle Union or whatever? The
Darren Sharper.
Darren Sharper. You know they
Nah, he
robbed
didn't
him.
hit. He was like assaulting women.
Yeah, you remember Ross that year? They robbed him.
Yeah.
Ross gonna know the game I'm talking about. Richie Rich, you gonna watch Richie Rich act stupid when I say this because Richie Rich gonna hold up. This is when you gonna see the real 49ers fan come out of his. It's gonna rear his ugly head. Darren Sharper got the made sure he got Jerry Rice out of bounds, and Green Bay was supposed to win that game. But they made 49ers win the game, and they said Jerry Rice caught the ball even though Jerry Rice was out of bounds. I was so hot that year. But if you tell Richie Rich or any 49ers fan, oh no, the 49ers were supposed to win that game. Bullshit. That motherfucker was out of bounds. He caught that ball out of bounds. But they didn't go back and give the game to the Green Bay Packers. No, they gave Jerry Rice the benefit of the doubt because his name was ranked higher than Darren Sharper. But Darren Sharper did the great defensive job and stopped him and made sure he caught that shit out of bounds. Are you going to admit this now, Richie Rich? Are you still going to act like Jerry Rice caught that shit?
Oh yeah. But here's the one thing: we're not gonna act like those two. We gotta act like those two plays are on the same level because one play determined who was going to the Super Bowl, and one play was way clearer.
Yeah,
Tom Brady's fumble was so much clearer.
exactly.
It was, but I'm just so many years later. I'm just trying to see if Richie Rich gonna hold to his 49ers.
Nah, I mean, Jerry Rice fumbled the football, but
okay.
you know it is that I'm not gonna be.
You finally admitting it now because you wasn't admitting it right after that game.
That was the then. This is now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm more realist with my team now. I'm not like it's not like Disneyland when you're a kid and you think they can't do no wrong. You feel me?
Okay. Well, I give you all the credit in the world because I didn't think you was going to admit that. And that was the highlight of Darren Sharper's career. The fact that he made Jerry Rice fumble, but he didn't get that. I mean, that would have been a good highlight of his career, but you know, he just never got the opportunity to get that highlight. But it is what it is, man. I'm glad that you admitted that. So you get 20 points in my book for that. Let's get to the next game. All right. Steelers versus the Eagles. The Eagles dominated the Steelers 35-13. Damn, man, they just straight mollywhopped them. I picked the Eagles to win. So right now my record is 25-16.
Hold on, we all picked the Eagles. What are you talking about?
I'm always gonna mention me first. You know the drill.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm always gonna mention me first. Richie Rich is 29-12, and Ross is 26-15. So I'm
domination so far.
Hold on. How I get to 15? Well, I just won.
No, you was 25. You was 25-15. Now you 26-15.
All right.
Yeah, I'm 25-16, and Richie Rich is 29-12.
Yeah,
so did you guys see that the Eagles was gonna blow out the Steelers?
Yes.
Is that an obvious one?
That was obvious. That was probably the most obvious game this week.
So we talked about the Cowboys, but the Cowboys got a rivalry here. That let's be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the team that knocks them out. The Eagles are undefeated. They 7-0. They're the best team in football right now. So if there was a hypothetical scenario where we had the Eagles versus the Cowboys in an NFC championship game, let's just kind of play it out and project it right now as we speak this week. How would you guys see that playing out with the way both teams look?
Right now, I got the Eagles, and not to override your question, but right now I got the Eagles going to the Super Bowl and losing to the Ravens.
Okay.
But yeah, right now I got the Eagles, just because they seem to be more of a close. They seem to have more what they call it chemistry on their team. Even
Gotcha.
though even though the Cowboys have talent, and when you got talent, you're gonna win. But the
Mm-hmm.
Eagles have talent, but they have more camaraderie than they got talent. You know what I'm saying? And camaraderie weighs heavier than talent. Think about it. Think about it. 2003, no, 2004, Detroit Pistons wasn't as talented as the Lakers, but they had more camaraderie. They,
Facts.
they they were playing with each other better. They ain't had one guy trying to
They
sabotage
won
another.
because of the team. You're right.
Right, they ain't had one guy try to sabotage another because he ain't want to pass the torch type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. You
You
could
know
say that
what?
again.
The Eagles, they doing their thing, man. You know, you got to give them credit. You know, Jalen Hurts, it's good to see him dominate out there. You know, and
It's good to
really
see a
take
black. It's
command.
good to see a black
Yeah,
quarterback in a
he's another.
good situation where everything is working for him. And look what he's proven. He's proven that when a great situation works for a black quarterback, we can have an undefeated record.
Yep.
You're right, but I also would like to see them play tougher competition. They have by far the easiest schedule.
Yeah, low key. Yeah,
Look at who they're going to be playing. They better go 16-0, 17-0.
Well,
And
they
they
got
better not be one of them
they strength
teams
the
that
schedule. They strength
they
the
win
schedule
all
in
them
the second
games
half
and
is
they
gonna
lose in
be.
the playoffs.
They strength the schedule in the second half is gonna really show who they are. They're gonna be playing some tough teams.
yep, low
Yeah.
key, low key. I'm glad he brought that up because it's kind of like the Steelers. Not last year. It was last year. It's kind of like the Steelers when they shot out to Canada. It was 12-0. They
Mm-hmm.
had the easiest schedule that year. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So we shall see. We shall see. You know what I'm saying?
But sometimes it's good. I always say sometimes it's good for teams to have garbage schedules early on, not the whole way, but early on,
Mm-mm.
because early on it helps you to build winning habits if you can keep winning, and then that way, once you've built the camaraderie and the habits, when you start ramping up the level of competition, because you're so used to winning and you're so used to winning in a team fashion, sometimes it doesn't. It carries over. I'm not saying that it always does,
Yeah,
but sometimes it carries over. The winning continues on because you've been able to continuously build a habit of winning.
I think the opposite. I think it's better to go through hard times in the beginning
Mm-hmm.
because once you, let's say you had an easy schedule, then you get to the playoffs,
Mm-hmm.
your schedule didn't prepare you for the playoffs
Yeah.
because it's been
Exactly.
too easy. You just
Yeah.
been running through niggas. Now you in the playoffs, and now you like, damn, we can't run our plays. Like, yeah,
Well,
motherfucker, I'm here.
I don't want you to have it easy all the way through. I'm just saying like for like the first, because we got what? Is it 17, 18 weeks in football, right?
17 weeks.
17 weeks. So let's say your first 7 weeks are easy, but your next 10 weeks are hard. You know, if you build the first 7 weeks just winning those first 7 weeks, then when the next 10 weeks come around, yeah, it's gonna really show who you are. But sometimes it boils in teams' favor. I'm not saying that always works, that recipe always works, because you make a more emphatic point, Ross. I'm just saying sometimes teams use those moments when they playing against garbage teams to clean up whatever issues they got going on and build that camaraderie. Because that's the biggest thing in football. When you build a camaraderie, regardless of the level of competition you playing, and that's in sports general. If you can build the team chemistry, even when the competition ramps up, the chemistry is there. So you guys know, okay, this is where you're gonna get the ball. This is how we like to play. This is how we run our schemes. This is how we attack. If you have that foundation, then regardless how much the competition ramps up, I feel like you've put yourself in a position to succeed. But does that always boil well? No, not if you're like you said that year with the Steelers. They went 12 games. That's way too much garbage teams you playing, and then you got 17 weeks. But I just looked at the Eagles schedule, and the next 10 weeks, they're gonna really get tested because they got to play the Cowboys, they got to play the Cardinals. They really gonna get fucking tested these next 10
They're
weeks.
not gonna get tested. Look at the next 4 weeks. Who they playing? They playing teams that they should be beating off rip. They gotta play the Texans. They
Right,
gotta
they
play the
supposed to beat the
Commanders.
Texans.
They gotta play the Colts. They gotta play the Packers. Come on, man. That's another 4 wins right there. Easy.
Right,
You see, y'all saying it's another 4 wins, but I don't think it's another 4 win.
Oh, okay. Prove to us that it's not another 4 win.
These are all
You know how I
terrible
can prove
teams
it?
right
You know how I
now
can
that
prove
they're
it to
gonna
you
play.
guys? You know how I can prove
Prove
it to you guys?
Prove me.
I'm gonna tell you
What
how I
team
can
gonna
prove
beat
it.
them?
Because you and Rich was so gun ho and telling me that the Raiders was gonna beat the Saints, and y'all got shut down. They got
Raiders are trash. I said the Raiders are a bad football team. It's two bad football teams. But I think the Raiders were better.
But based on your expert opinions, right? Because y'all broke down their running game, y'all broke down the fact that the Saints were hurt. Y'all said the Saints was gonna lose, right? That's what I love about football. And your expert opinion wasn't wrong. But what was the outcome of the game? That's what I love about football. We could sit here and break it down every week. This is what's gonna happen. But at the end of the day, the outcome can be surprising. I don't think those next 4 weeks are going to be as easy as you guys think it is. I don't think that. They still got to go and play the football game. They still got to go and win.
What we saying is they're supposed to win those games.
That's all we saying.
Yeah, they're supposed to win those games. If they lose,
Yeah.
it won't because the competition is tight. It'll because they fumbled a win. Yeah. That does not mean their schedule got tighter.
They have by far the easiest schedule this year than any team playing right now.
All right, Ross, you got me with that one. You got me. No matter how much I tried to make that look, I tried to make that sound good. It just didn't sound good.
Right, when people go look at their schedule, they're gonna say, "Yeah, he knows." No.
Patriots. Well, boxing fans calling me out too. He said Eagles' toughest game isn't until week 14 versus the Giants. Patriots versus the Jets. It was a 22-17 game. Shit, I fucking picked the Jets. This is a bad week for me, man. 25-17. I'm not the only one that picked the Jets, though.
Hold on. Let me see.
Come on, he knows.
You the only one. Hold on. I ain't picked no fucking Jets.
I know I didn't pick no Jets.
Yeah, you the only one that picked the Jets.
I don't know why you picked the Jets.
Bro, this is a really bad week for you, bro.
Richy Rich is 30-12. Ross is 27-15, and I'm 25-17.
Hold on. 27-15 or 27-14?
No, you 27-15.
I gotta always question because if I'm right or wrong, Richy Rich he'll correct me.
Yeah, you 27-15.
All right, man. All right, I accept that now.
So what happened in this game, man?
I don't know. You tell me, cause I want to know why you picked these niggas.
I picked the Jets because of the strength of schedule. I thought they were the better team. They had the better record. That's why I picked them.
Yeah,
you guys said
that
Bill Belichick was going to turn things around, and you guys were right.
We're right.
Yeah.
First of all, Zach Wilson is not even a true star. He gonna get. I say Zach Wilson is benched. Not this. So Zach Wilson is probably traded or become a permanent backup in probably 2 years. He's not a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's not nice like that. He got a little arm. But his problems is not his physical attributes. It's right in his head, man.
Yeah.
This motherfucker he be seeing people wide open when they be triple guarded.
he knows it was trying to go against the grain. He wasn't listening to my breakdown last week. I mentioned that Wilson didn't throw no touchdowns for 4 weeks. When they went on their 4-game winning streak, Wilson didn't throw no touchdowns. They were heavily relying on Breece Hall, that running back that went down with an ACL injury. Mm-hmm. Once he went down, I was like, man, there's no way they're beating the Patriots. That was the guy they was counting on those last 4 weeks. And then, I mean, they signed James Robinson. They made that trade for the Jacksonville Jaguars running back, but he's new to that system. He's going to have to learn, how that system is before he gets truly acclimated to being effective for the Jets. But the Jets, they're a team that's playing with swagger, but they're not going to beat Patriots. The Patriots, you realize that it's like the Niners and the Rams, but with the Patriots, it's worse with the Jets. Bill Belichick has beat that team 13 times in a row.
My idea for this last week was to create separation, but hey, sometimes that's how it is. You take a hellified risk, either it boils well for you, or like I am suffering right now, it stinks up the joint. I did that to create separation from you guys, but it didn't work out. So it is what it is. That was the idea behind it. Go against, be diametrically opposed to what you guys were saying, so that if it did pan out like it did with the Raiders and Saints, it seemed like that was the only time it panned out. If that would have been a multiplication all throughout this week, I would have been way ahead right now. But it didn't happen that way. I only got in one game. So it is what it is. But you were right. I should have went with that breakdown, because the expert breakdown was exactly how the game panned out. So let's talk about the Vikings and the Cardinals, man. The Vikings 34 and the Cardinals 26. I picked the Vikings, so that helps me out. So I'm 26 and 17. Ross, you picked the Cardinals.
Yeah, Ross, you picked the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And Richy Rich, you picked the Cardinals too.
No, I didn't. I
Yes,
picked the
you
Vikings. I picked the Vikings, man. Come on now, don't play with me.
All right. So Richy Rich is 30 and 12.
I'm 31 and 12.
What you mean? You was 30 and you was
I became 30 and 12 when I picked the Patriots. That made me 30. Now I picked the Vikings. I'm 31 and 12.
Hold on.
No, I wasn't.
Hold on.
You really don't want me to create that separation.
Hold on. He knows you're messing up. So you ain't even add the last win we just got. The Patriots.
No, I did add the last win. Richy Rich is 31 and 12. You're 27 and 16. And I'm 26 and 17. That's the count you got, Richy Rich?
Ross is 27 and 16.
Right.
I just said that. 27 and 16.
No, you didn't. I'm 2 games above you, man, not 1.
No, because I picked the Vikings.
Yeah, he knows it's 26 and 17.
Okay, you just better get back. All right.
Yeah, I picked the Vikings, so I'm 26 and 17. I thought you picked the Cardinals, so that's why. If you would have picked the Vikings, then you would have been 2 games ahead. You would have been 28 and 16. And I think the only reason why you didn't pick the Vikings is because, if memory serves me well from what you said last week, you just didn't trust them to win.
I actually thought Arizona was a better team, truth be told. I have no trust in Kirk Cousins, man. I ain't got no trust in Kirk Cousins, but as I was watching the game, a lot of fluky dumb shit happened in that game. Like they missed the helmet in the fucking end zone.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of shit they missed in that game. So I like, okay, Vikings gonna win this game.
Yeah, a lot of flunky stuff.
But yeah, Vikings. Arizona was supposed to lose, so the Vikings not nice like that.
Well, it's not over yet. We still got 2 games right now. We got the Bills and the Packers. The Bills are up 14-17. That's the game being played. And then we got the Browns and the Bengals. And memory serves me well, in the Bills game. Let's see.
Ross chose the Packers.
Listen. Don't. Your memory is very bad. I'll tell you who I picked.
Richy Rich picked the Bills. Ross picked the Packers. And I picked the Bills.
Yeah, I picked Green Bay.
Yeah, so I picked the Bills in that game. So they win. If the Bills win, they're up. If they win, then that should help me. And then we got this game right here on Monday Night Football, the Browns and the Bengals. In that game, I picked the Browns.
I picked the Browns too.
And
we
Richy
all picked the Browns. I didn't pick no Bengals. I picked the Browns, man.
Stop, bro. Don't tell us who we picked, because somehow, some way, you always get the wrong picks. So just ask us who we picked. We'll tell you. I never seen a motherfucker be so wrong so many times.
Hey, man.
Look, man, I think we need to. I think it's fair if I'm the only one that's doing the actual count.
Hell no.
Yeah, I was just trying to get some separation on you guys.
Hell no. If we was depend on you to do the count, you have 30. You have 30 wins. Of the teams you didn't pick. Because me personally, I still think you picked the Texans. Truth be told, and I think you picked the Texans, And this is the only time that Richy Rich was wrong, and you went with that anyway.
Oh, you talking about the Texans and the Titans?
Yeah, I think you really picked the Texans.
I said the Texans, but Richy Rich had it down.
Titans. Yeah. And but that gonna show you how you low down because you knew you picked the Texans and you took that win.
No, I did, but it was documented that I picked the Titans.
I remember he switched it. He switched his mind.
Oh, he switched it. Okay, he didn't remember.
He switched it at the last minute, and he chose the Tennessee. Yeah, he knows not.
Yeah, because I had it written down as Texans, but I had question mark next to it. So that's why when Richy Rich said Titans, I was like, yeah, I think I did say Titans on the back end because I said Texans initially.
And this proves my point why you can't be the guy who keep the tally.
What? I was honest about it though.
Now the thing is just it's too much infractions on your side.
It's not too much infraction because the scores are accurate.
No, Richy is 31. The scores are accurate. The scores are accurate. 17. The scores are accurate with a lot of assistance, man. I saw a lot of Richy Rich has a 99.9% towel accuracy. You like 35% right now, man. You like 35%. You like Marcus McDonald, man. You just swinging. You just throw shit on the wall, hoping to stick.
That's a low blow right there.
Oh man.
Throwing all those punches, but no accuracy. That's funny.
No accuracy, man. And it's not because you. Okay, it's because you do it on purpose. You doing this on purpose.
Hey, he tried to throw us off, man.
Yeah, I'm not trying to throw nobody off. If you guys say that's who you pick, that's who you pick. I can't go. I only go off of what you guys say. The
problem is when we sit down and we determine what everybody is in agreement. Until 4 days later, all of a sudden, everybody. You ever say you forgot what everybody picked, and you always wrong and shit.
But I still make sure you guys get your tally. At the end of the day, the right person is gonna win, man.
Richy Rich makes sure. Richy Rich makes sure.
If Richy Rich only making sure right now because he's up, I tell you, once he start losing. I know him. Once he starts losing,
I'm not like that. You tripping?
All right, don't worry about it because once he starts losing, then I will kick in. I'm gonna start paying extra attention there.
And then when you start losing, you gonna start fucking.
Nah, because I'm already losing right now, and I ain't doing it.
Well, I'll admit you've been consistent with your win loss, and I think that's why I've been inconsistent, and Richy Rich is having what they call beginner's luck right now. He's just doing stuff that that's what it is.
Wait till next week.
I would say that because he had actual logic backing up why he say shit. Actual logic, and sometimes I be going against him because I know at some point I gotta go against him if I'm gonna take the lead.
Yeah,
but in the games where I go against him, I be knowing why I lost. I be knowing, you know what I'm saying.
I got you. When he does make the thing with me, I'm just trying to buck against you guys so that it only worked once.
That shit crazy. You bucking too much. Sometimes you gotta go with the flow. These next couple of weeks, you just need to pick everything we pick to get you back in it.
No, next week we're going back to the normal thing, which is you guys explain why you picking the team, and then I'll pick on the back end. I'll pick on the back end.
Hell no, because we not doing that.
I mean, what we can do is we can all do how we're doing. We all decide on a game. We decide who's gonna make the first pick.
Right. Alternate. And you notice, the first couple of weeks.
I mean, if it's not broke, don't try to fix it. It was working well when you guys broke it down, and then I came on the back end and made my pick. That was working very well.
First pick. No. It's gonna be alternated.
No. Here's something I'm about to bring out that's gonna shut everything down. In the very beginning when we was doing that, you notice he was winning. As soon as he had to stand on his own, it's like making his own pick. He started making a hell of a pick.
That's why I said, man, we got to return back to that format. That format was working beautifully. It's like you got the coach's playbook.
Nah. The format is fine, man. It's sometimes it's called user error, man. You ever heard of user error?
You gotta explain it.
User error, when you're a boss and when you're a supervisor, you will have somebody to be like, man, the copy machine don't work, but when you get over there, the copy machine work fine. It just ain't no paper in the motherfucking machine.
That's funny. Ooh, that was good. So we got fantasy football Wednesday. Not gonna hold you guys up too much longer, but this has been a great live. I think fantasy football Wednesday, you guys are gonna get again great expert breakdowns. After these two more games, we'll be able to tally before it starts. We'll tally up the scores from this game tonight, and then Monday Night Football. We'll add that into the mix, and then we'll talk about Week 9 and what it's going to look like for Week 9 and what you guys expect, and who was the player of the week, who balled out of control, who to look out for, and who to basically throw away in the dumpster, man. But you guys know one thing that's been consistent in fantasy football, I think we all uniformly agree, is they need to take Aaron Rodgers and throw him all the way in the trash can, all the way in the dumpster. They need to dump him beyond dumping, if there's such a term, because he's been playing garbage this year, if we're being honest with ourselves. He gets no pass.
Everybody got their time where the game leaves them behind.
And it's sad that the game has left him behind, and he's not even. You know how with most quarterbacks, the game leaves them behind when they're over the hill, way, way over the hill. He's not even over the hill. So that tells me he was overrated.
You got to realize what he was doing. He was doing all that nonsense to get that last payday.
Mm-hmm. And now he got it. They got to deal with him for the next so many years, right?
Yeah.
But I'm surprised
they're not gonna cut him.
Well, I mean, is the team gonna continue to go in garbage year after garbage year after garbage year and not win a Super Bowl and not decide to, if they have the opportunity in the lottery to get a top level quarterback, they're not gonna do that? I mean, any respectable football team, I don't care if they pay somebody X amount of dollars, that's what you do. They did that. They even did that shit to Brady. They looked in the draft to try to see if they can find his replacement. So why is a team that's looking to be on the uptick? I mean, it's just only business sense to look at your next guy for your future. Why wouldn't they do that?
Well, I feel that they are going to do that now because the Packers are going to have it's going to be an opportune year where they're going to be a non-playoff team. So this is the year to finally draft a quarterback. But Aaron Rodgers is going to have to play ball this time. You know how he didn't want to groom Jordan Love when they first drafted him because he felt that he was threatened by his job was being threatened. They drafted a quarterback and he didn't want to play ball to mold that kid. But whoever they draft this year, he's going to have to play ball and mold that kid.
Yeah, I mean, it's only right he gets that same treatment because remember, they did that with Brett Favre. They forced Brett Favre's hand to mold him. So it's his job, and now it's his turn to mold somebody else. Yeah, I mean that would be reaping what you sow.
Yeah, he's on the decline.
Brett Favre molded him, and then he found a way to get Brett Favre out of there. So he needs to mold somebody, and then they get his ass up out of there.
Man, Brett Favre ain't going nowhere, man. He just signed a 3-year contract, $50 million a year. They can't send him nowhere. Who gonna pay for that?
That's what I'm saying.
He locked
in, man. With him until his contract runs out.
For better or for worse. And he's gonna retire Green Bay Packer, man.
Yeah.
He don't gotta perform like black quarterbacks do when they get money. He locked in. You
I
holding
hope
him
he
to
plays. I hope he plays so garbage these next few years that his replacement is just gonna have to take the starting job away from him. At least that's what I'm hoping for.
this motherfucker be so adamant in what he feels. He be going against like the whole NFL business model. There's certain players in the league that are fixtures. Do you know the league wants you to think that Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback who ever played as far as throwing the football?
I
They're
know. I
not gonna
hate that.
embarrass him by getting him benched. He's never gonna get benched and get embarrassed like that. He's gonna. It don't matter how bad.
Even if
It
he's
don't
like
matter how bad he plays.
even if they 0-7, 0-8.
It don't matter how bad he plays. They're gonna blame it on everybody else. Right
Damn.
now, he's playing trash. They blame it on everybody else.
So basically, they don't care to be an NFL team. Period. They don't care about winning. They don't care about playing
Everything
football.
you look at is about pushing white supremacy. Is that first? Is everything else? So they never gonna make somebody at a certain status as a white man. They never gonna embarrass them like that. You see how they treated. See how they treated Epstein and they treated Harvey Weinstein and how they treated R. Kelly. They
Yep.
handled them two different ways.
That is true, and you could throw Bill Cosby in there too.
Yeah, they handle them different ways because they
Yep.
never gonna embarrass them like that. It's gonna be a minimum amount of exposure when they in a bad situation.
Even though Harvey Weinstein situation, when we really look at it, is a billion times worse.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is gonna play these next 3 years, and he's gonna retire. They're gonna have him in the Ring of Honor, and he's gonna get all the amenities. He's not gonna get no more big contracts. His big contract days is over with. And it should be. Look how he's playing. It should be. He want to blame on everybody else, but Aaron Rodgers is the problem at Green Bay too.
Yeah,
He's been the problem.
Why?
You know Brett Favre outed him. Brett Favre said before Brett Favre left that team, nobody listened, paid attention. I'm sure you caught it, Ross. But Brett Favre said this kid is not even better than me at this stage, and that was when Brett Favre was way older. He said he's not even better than me at this. You guys are so quick to get me out, and the kid is not better than me. So why aren't you guys just starting me until I decide to leave? Brett Favre felt that he should have got that treatment. They got him out of there, and then they decided to go with Aaron Rodgers. That was fucked up when they did that.
Well, at the time, it's the same thing. Brett Favre was declining at that time too.
yeah.
He was declining at that time too. They should well, we all could have what they call revisionist history. I think they got rid of him a year too early, right? They got rid of Brett Favre a year too early, but Brett Favre was doing the same shit Aaron Rodgers do, and with Brady, like, I'm retired, I'm not retired, I'm retired, I'm not retired. So they say, you know what, motherfucker, get the fuck out of here. Because you're not even to say Aaron Rodgers, he ain't to say Brett Favre that was crazy like that. So we're not taking this shit off of you. You know what I'm saying? And
I agree with that. He should have got one more year. He should have got one more year, but you can't be with football. You can't play football like that, especially at that position. You cannot say I'm retired and I'm not retired. If you're gonna play, just play, motherfucker.
That's it.
And be done with it. Just play, and then we'll know when you're over the hill. Because there's two sports that I like that once you over the hill, it's obvious. And I think they're the most obvious sports. And two positions at that too. That's quarterback positioning. You could kind of mask it in basketball until it's so obvious, then it's obvious. Because in basketball, you can go from being an athletic player to playing in a post and shoot, right? But the two sports that are very obvious is quarterbacking in football and boxers. You cannot mask that shit, man. Once you age overnight in those positions, it's obvious. Because in football, the game is too fast, like you guys said earlier. So if you're a quarterback and you age overnight, you getting sacked and you're gonna be throwing picks left and right. And in boxing, we know when a guy age overnight. Just look at Manny Pacquiao and your Dennis Ugas fight. Jinky was feeding him, and Manny Pacquiao was missing the food. So those are the two sports you age overnight, quick,
Yeah,
and it's
you're in
obvious.
trouble. You're in trouble. You age overnight in boxing, you in trouble. You age overnight in football, your ass in trouble. But if you play quarterback, you in trouble because you only have splits. You only have 2-3 seconds to do what you're gonna do when you hike. Then they hike that ball.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have all the time in the world. Sit back and think about it. And if your body, and especially if you're a pocket quarterback, you have to be you have to be willing to take a hit because you're stationary. You're throwing the ball and get hit right afterwards. You got to be willing to take that hit. And once you get to the point where you flinching because you don't want to take that hit, it's over with.
So no matter how much they try to protect quarterbacks, that hit is gonna hit. And
It's
if you
going
feel a
hit.
hit,
What?
you're gonna feel a hit. You still gonna get hit regardless. They could try to protect these quarterbacks as much as they want. A hit is gonna be a hit.
Yep.
And low key, some of these defenders be getting. You know what I like about football? Low key, some of these defenders get um quality hits under the radar, man. They can't do it in house in person. But have you guys watched that movie Any Given Sunday?
Yeah, that's a
And
classic.
any given Sunday, if you guys remember when the players are on the ground, right? Guys getting their teeth kicked. I still think that shit happens in football, man. I remember playing the quarterback position, guys being up under you, punching you in the damn stomach because they don't like you.
Trying to poke you in
I
your
still,
eyes and shit.
yeah, I feel like quarterbacks get hit. Now they try to defenders do that shit like motherfucker. Man, I can't sack you openly, but fuck you. And straight elbow them real quick. And then you see the quarterback getting up gingerly. And you know that defensive player said, man, if you say something at the end of the game, I'm gonna be waiting I'm gonna be waiting for your ass in the alley. So that quarterback don't say nothing. He just get up gingerly, and you're like, "What the fuck just happened to this quarterback? Why is he grimacing? It didn't look like he got hit hard." Next thing you know, a 300+ pound guy kneed him in the back while they were down, and then you got the referees coming in to split. I still think those things happen, man. I can't sack you openly, but I'm gonna fuck you up while we down. And that's probably what's happening to Brady because Brady's been getting up looking like he went through the what they call those you know those places people used to work at back in those days, the mill. Am I saying it right?
Mm-hmm.
He looked like he looked like he came out of one of those mills when he's getting up. He don't look right. He looked like he got beat up down there.
I don't know why he went to berating his line like that, man. Those guys, man, those are the last guys you want to, get have mean at you, man. These guys that are blocking for you.
Yeah, those guys are like, man, fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
I know, man. Richy tell you, man, we played this football game. I made the mistake of I dish ragged the O-line, man. I was like, man, y'all playing like shit. Y'all playing garbage, man. Fuck y'all. And then those guys looked back at me and they were like, okay. They didn't say nothing. I already knew what time it was. Next thing you know, I said, down, set, height. These motherfuckers just stood there, man. I got hit so hard. I said, damn, man, what the fuck? What's going on with y'all? Man, you was talking so much shit. We just wanted you to feel what you was talking. And I think that's what happened with Brady, man. They just tired of his mouth. They want him gone. We got a Super Bowl out of you. We don't need you quarterbacking us no more. And now you're dealing with a generation of people. What they call it, Ross, Richy Rich, cancel culture. Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be very delicate with these new generation of people because in this cancel culture, if they feel like because it's participation award and they're weak and they're fragile in their emotions, if you attack them too much, they'll quit on you.
Yep.
And that's even in football. They'll quit on you. They don't care.
But that's not Tom Brady's issue. He's just not playing well. He's old. He's just not. That's not his issue. He has enough time to make the passes. He don't want to take the hits.
Yeah.
So he's getting rid of the ball. He's throwing it at the receivers. Go and look at how many balls are hitting the receivers in their feet and shit. He's trying to get rid of that motherfucker so fast
Mm-hmm.
because he don't want to take that hit, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Who wants to take those hits at 45?
That's why he should retire. He should stay retired. He thought it was gonna be easy. He thought everybody was coming back. They did it. They like,
Nah,
man, they like Gronk ain't coming back and Antonio Brown not coming back. So now he
Mm-hmm.
don't. He got guys who need time to get open, and he don't have the time to get
exactly.
the ball out fast.
Yeah. Low key, man. This has nothing to do with football, but I have to thank this movie. I will always forever thank this movie for bringing back my guy back. The Rock gets credit, man, with the Black Adam because he brought back the Kal-El for the Superman. If it wasn't for the Rock and the Black Adam, we wouldn't have Henry Cavill coming back as Superman because I feel like Henry Cavill was the best Superman movie style that they've done. So I got to give the Rock credit for that, man. And they tried to screw this black brother, man. They tried to screw him with the critics basically saying the movie was bad. If you watch the movie, this is like the best acting job this guy's ever done. But they tried to
I didn't
screw
watch
him.
that movie yet, so no spoilers.
Yeah, they tried to screw him, man. But it's good to see in 2 weeks, he got respectable numbers, over 250 million worldwide. So I would recommend anyone to go watch that damn movie, man. Support it, because if it wasn't for him, Superman wouldn't come back. And the reason why he gets the credit for it is because he said he would not do the Black Adam role if Henry Cavill didn't return back to Superman. Because he said, if you guys are going to have me fight Superman, I need to be fighting the Superman that fans loved and fighting the Superman that's original to the continuum of this storyline. Can't have this Superman that you've been building for all these years and then you scrap him. So I appreciated him for doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have that guy back. I felt that they picked the right Superman for Man of Steel, and then all of a sudden, DC decided to go. They were all over the place after that movie.
Well, it was that guy Walter Hamada who was the DC head. He just they got rid of his ass. He was trying to bring in a different biopic Superman that just didn't make sense. It was going to screw everything over, but he got trumped. And this has a lot to do with The Rock. Thank goodness The Rock's star power. The Rock used his star power to say, either it's me or that dude. So they got rid of him. And they're considering bringing back Ben Affleck's Batman because now Henry Cavill's Superman's back. So basically, the original squad. That would be nice.
That's good.
If you have a good storyline, you need to keep it. And Man of Steel 2 is going to see Superman versus the story is already set up. Superman versus Black Adam. So that's going to be crazy. Because the next Justice League foe is going to be Black Adam. So it's going to be the Justice League versus Black Adam. That means Black Adam is overpowered, man. That's going to be good.
If it's good, I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, he is powerful. I'm not going to ruin the movie for you. Ross already watched it, but you could tell how powerful Black Adam is. I mean, this dude is...
I mean, I already read up on him and watched stuff, like animations and stuff on him already. I already have an idea of how powerful he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have a power of a god or something like that?
He was the original Shazam before Shazam.
Yeah, I know that.
But the thing was, they didn't like the fact that they couldn't control him. So because they couldn't control him, they decided to go with another version of him later on, and that's how Shazam came about. So what they did is they used a kid because they felt they can control the kid instead of an adult who has a mind of his own, and it's like, nah, forget this, man. I'm bucking the system. So Black Adam's really not a bad villain like they pay him to be. He's what you call anti-hero. And anti-heroes are guys that you just can't control their thought process. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. They're gonna do what they're gonna do regardless, and they don't give a shit about you.
Exactly. I know.
But that's about it, man. I'm not gonna hold you guys up any longer. Ross, just let me know when your book is ready to go, and then I'm gonna go ahead and cop me a copy. And I have a whole bunch of community posts that I'm gonna be doing. So I'm gonna be using what you already sent me. Um, I already told you I'm gonna do that like 1,000 times over. So you gave me the green light. So because you gave me the green light, I'm gonna do it with nothing held back.
All right, cool.
All right. Well, it's been real. See you guys on Wednesday for fantasy football, and then hopefully this next week. Because now, we went a few weeks where so this week is back to the original week where I go last. So that's good. And then after that, we could run it back again where I'll be first and then you guys will be second. So I should have a great week because I'm listening to what you guys got to say and then I get to pick on the end. So this will be a great week for me. Great bounce back week.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
We'll see.
All right, well, you guys take care.
As long as we're keeping you honest, you ain't never gonna bounce back.
We'll see, man. We'll see. That's what I love about football. We shall see. But all right, y'all take care. Appreciate you guys' contribution and your expert opinion. As always, it's much appreciated, and I know that based on the weeks ahead, it's going to be interesting to see how this year play out. You guys take care. Have a great Sunday. Peace.
Peace.